Many of you have experienced the same thing. Some of you right now are going through a toxic relationship. These people are arrogant, and these people, they come back into your lives and they're unapologetic. Some of these people haven't seen you in a while. Some of these people haven't seen you in years, and they reach out to you. And these people have the audacity to tell you that they miss you and how much they love you, when in fact they treated you like trash when they were around you. And so they do all of that, and they come back and they never apologize. So, which means that these people are still unrepentant. These people are full of pride. They're arrogant, self absorbed. And you were there at a time in your life. You were there for them, but they weren't there for you.
What's Jim got to say? I know Jim don't like that.
There are other factors as well. This morning, I want to delve into this maybe a little further. It's important because all of us are customers, and we spend money, and we want quality service. But I'm going to tell you, because of what I'm going to share, quality service can quickly become inferior service. Searching back a little bit in my own history, when I retired with Burlington Industries in 2000, I had the calling to serve the elderly while establishing worker ministries. I became a CNA, that's a certified nursing assistant. And then I became employed at a local assisted living facility. And when I went there, I made it clear to management I was not interested in any managerial job. I want to just step back into the shoes of an employee, which would help me later, and it has, as I ministered to employees through worker ministries, because it would give me a clear picture of the work environment of today as an employee. And before I go further, let me say that this became God's blessing, and it became such a profound event in my life that I actually wrote a story about my experience there, and it was featured in the Guidepost magazine. I can tell you that I could not help but observe the way the facility was being managed. That was of interest to me, and the reason is, again, my career with Burlington Industries included training many managers in how to properly manage employees. And I want to tell you, what I saw was an absolute disaster. There's an old true saying, goes something like this: employees treat customers like they're treated. A lot of truth to that. You see, when you apply that to those serving the elderly, when those who work in these facilities are abused, I'm going to tell you something, they often transfer that abuse to the elderly, of all things. And this, of course, can actually become dangerous. I work beside employees who are being mismanaged. And you see, when that happens, they will often leave, and then management will be left holding the bag, including high turnover. And because of the difficulty of the job, it's often difficult to find someone to replace them. That's one of the most difficult jobs in the United States to replace as a CNA. Turnover was atrocious at that facility. Now, in that kind of work environment that can exist today, add to that diversity, equality, inclusion junk that I've talked about the last 2 days. And it's exactly like taking gasoline and throwing it on a burning fire. You see, managers who don't know how to manage, they can take a few lessons. And guess what? The lessons can come from the President of the United States, Donald Trump. I just study, I do this for all presidents. I love to study their managerial style. And one of the major qualities that President Trump brings is the fact that he praises the work of others, including his cabinet members. He doesn't forget them. Several weeks ago, during a time when he would sign that crypto bill, there were many individuals from the administration and from American business that were present in that room. He went down his list. Hey, Joe, it's good to see you today. Hey, you're doing a fantastic job over there. Keep up the good work. Then there's Susan. Susan, so good to have you with us. You're a fantastic person, and you've accomplished so much. And thank you for supporting me during the campaign. You see, this is exactly what we teach in worker ministries. Praise them. Praise them. Now, let me quickly say, Mr. Harry, I got to be careful with this. I had one employee to tell me one time when I was at Burlington Industries, he says, don't just praise me, raise me. He talked about the money. And that's absolutely true. Recognize your employees, and this can be done in many ways. And it does include a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. And if the performance of an individual is excellent, then you acknowledge that achievement and you look for the opportunity to promote that person to a higher position so you don't lose that person. And extending this one step further, I cannot end this subject this morning of kindness that comes with the president without recognizing how this man is responding to the press. It's absolutely unbelievable. In my lifetime, I have never witnessed a president, any president, who does everything possible to answer their questions, who's in contact with them almost every day, invites them to come into the cabinet room, invites them to come into the Oval Office. I mean, compare that to his predecessor who would hardly give them the time of day. And yet these fake news reporters cling to that one regardless of such behavior. That in itself shows how blinded they are to the truth, and because they become so brainwashed. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not playing politics this morning. I'm talking about Obama. I'm talking about Bush, Clinton. They never gave that kind of time to the press, and that is significant when you consider the amount of work that's on the president's plate today. Before closing, let me also acknowledge this. You appreciate this, Ms. Terry, because I know you, Ms. Sue Ann, eat out at restaurants or whatever. And let me acknowledge local managers of restaurants that I visit. I spend my money where I'm treated with respect, because when I patronize those restaurants, I'm joining other customers, and we pay their salaries. So with this in mind, I can tell you that the best restaurants in Burlington are those that are managed in the manner that I have described this morning. And if I may just quickly put one little quick plug in here, there ain't no better example than Chick-fil-A, a Christian-based organization. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 222-9224.
Yes, sir. I've just been listening to your show for the last couple of days, and one of them was about the economics that's going on now. I live in Alamance County. I'm in my 70s, but I don't see the same things that they were talking about. If they go to the grocery store, I can't hardly afford to buy any type of beef, and all the other things, I see no reduction. Talking about gas and getting out and going around, I don't see any reduction in gas prices. It's all bumps up there from $2.75 to $2.89. I just don't see it. And then the things, people in the county are separated from, even some of your friends don't act the same as usual. You see a lot of more crime in this area. I think it's a lot of it is coming from the way things are being run. I just don't see the things I hear on the radio show about, in my opinion, what's really happening here. And the one that talks early in the morning that just has talked, I don't understand where he's coming from. I heard
His name is Jim Hodgetts, and he thinks he's a Christian, but he's a demonic Christian.
And I don't see some of the things that I would forgive about if it proved to be true. And I just don't see some of the things that's happening in my way of life that comes out like I hear on the show. I mean, it's just all an opinion, I know, but still, I just don't see some of the things that's happening. I don't see any benefit that I've received or has helped me in years. So that's just the way my opinion is. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you for calling. Thank you very much.
Sir, I'm sorry, Alamance County, it's just going downhill. It really is. It's a bunch of racist people that live in Alamance County, and they can't stand anybody else living here.
We just had feel. It is about how you feel, and I think that's sometimes one of the reasons why politicians get it wrong, is because not listening to this guy. Let me tell you about Postal Connections. Postal Connections is a place to go if you've got some packing and shipping to do at Waterford. Now, you can call them 336-584-4405. If you're running a business and you don't have a shipping department, let them be your shipping department at Postal Connections. And be sure to tell them that you heard us talking about them on Talk Line.
Good morning, Eric. How are you?
I'm well, doing well.
Yeah, I just heard that conversation, and I mean, this is how, how I look at it. And, he made some comments that, things aren't getting better, prices aren't dropping. Well, first of all, prices are never dropping. Joe Biden created all this inflation from giving
That's
away
a damn
money.
lie. That's a damn
New
lie.
Deal, all these programs, American Rescue Plan, all this stuff. Well, this flooded the country with money, and people had money that didn't have before, and so they went crazy buying and spending and whatever, and it drove the supply demand crazy. We came out of a pandemic, supply chains were messed up, and then we had all this demand because people.
Y'all created the pandemic, you dumb motherfuckers.
But what you have to look at, and I understand him, I'm 70-some years old too, but you've got to look at just some simple things. What did you pay for a gallon of gas a year ago? You didn't pay $2.75. Go back, if you use your debit card or you write a check for your gas, go back and look at your bank statement and look at these entries. What did I pay for gas last year? When I stopped and got gas. What am I paying now? And then you go back and you say, okay, what did I pay for a pound of hamburger last year? And what am I paying now? Okay, it's really simple, but people want to see, hamburger go back to the price it was in 2020.
We sure
Or
do.
2019.
We
It's not
sure
gonna
do.
do that.
Why don't it never
It's
go back
not
down?
gonna
Why
do
does everything
that
keep
because
going up and up and up?
They have raised the prices, and what you have to do is get control of it. If Donald Trump and his administration hadn't got control of this and got the price of gas coming down, which affects all this stuff, all the hamburger and all the meat and all the groceries have to be delivered by trucks. And it takes a while for that to filter in to the price.
The food ain't worth shit no more. Your air ain't worth shit no more. Your soil won't even grow your vegetables and stuff right anymore.
Wow, you can't. It's not something you can do overnight. When he says I'm going to reduce inflation, he hasn't reduced inflation. It's been under 3% every month he's been in there. I mean, it was up as high as 20% during Biden's administration. So you can't sit there and say that, I don't see anything different, because it is different. It just may not be this big new bill. We haven't even seen the effects of the benefits of that, because it's just now when it was passed.
We don't want this shit. Everything y'all do is messed up.
To pay some tax on his Social Security. When he files his tax return, he's going to realize, wait a minute, I didn't have to pay any tax this year because this extra
just because y'all put it all on my bill
deduction that he's been given, and the increase in the standard deduction, he will end up not paying as much tax. Now, if he makes a low income, he doesn't have to pay tax anyway.
I'm low income. I have to pay high tax.
He will not see it.
I don't got no income.
You will see it. Many people will see it. It doesn't affect everybody, because if your income is only your Social Security, chances are the tax break for Social Security won't affect you. But there's a lot of people that have more, if they have retirement income coming in other than Social Security, it pushes that number up above the number that you start paying tax on your Social Security, and they will see that tax go away. And, it just takes a while for all these things that he's doing to create the fact. Just like the fact now, we're able to sell agricultural products over in the country that would not even let us sell any products in. It's going to be more that the amount of products that we export to these countries that we haven't been able to export before will drive the prices down.
Mm-hmm. Well, here the last, when you talk about, you talk about all these things, and it's difficult to narrow it down to what is and what isn't up, what is and what isn't down. Gasoline is an easy one to do. It's just relatively easy to look at. And for the last 6 presidents, the average price of gasoline for Joe Biden, he had the highest average price, and that was $3.60 during his administration. Barack Obama's first term was $3.12. His second term was $2.95. George W. Bush was $2.77, and Donald Trump is $2.57. I mean, we know what these numbers are. So the price of gasoline is lower, but you're absolutely correct. See, that's what's so insidious about inflation. Once you let inflation get away from you, even when you get it under control, the prices don't come down. That's why it's so insidious. That's why it's the worst kind of thing that you can have. If there's anything that you need to do as an administration is get hold of inflation, because that's what really hurts people.
Politicians, you know what they'll do, Harry? They'll tell you anything to get elected. But Donald Trump is probably one of the few politicians that I've ever known in my lifetime that he's told us things that he was going to do. And you can check them off the box.
And he also will say what you said. He does say, look, there's going to be some pain in the beginning of this. It's going to take a while. And the reason that he says that is because he understands that sort of stuff. Now, is he perfect? Is he right all the time? Absolutely not. Have a good day. Take care. 222-9224. Heard us talking about them on Talk Line. Good morning. You're on Talk Line.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I just listened to you and Barry talking about pie in the sky. When you consider gas prices going up, North Carolina raised the tax on gasoline. It had nothing to do with Joe Biden. And what the caller will say, he doesn't see all this pie in the sky people are talking about. And he's right. Most people can't afford to buy a beef in the store. You're not just talking about hamburgers. And remember, Donald Trump said prices was going down on day one. He didn't say wait a while. Down the line, things don't get better. He said day one, prices is going down, and prices is not going down. And I heard you say all the people in the European Union are not satisfied with what Trump's talking about. France is not satisfied. And those cars are not going to... In foreign countries, a lot of those people cannot afford to buy an American car. And they're not going to be buying them. And those companies are not going to be coming to the United States. All this stuff that Donald Trump is talking about is not going to happen. The people know that he's going to be gone in a few years. He's already lame duck. Those people are not going to disrupt their companies and move back to the United States because of Donald Trump. They can't be certain what's going to happen here. They can't be certain that another Donald Trump will come along and disrupt everything. It's not going to happen. Now, I want to address something Barry said yesterday. He was talking to you. He said the federal government, through social services, are trying to please the blacks for years of wrongdoing. And he said this. He said the white people got caught in the snare of social services that was afforded to the blacks. That's stupid. Social services was started for white people, not black. There's been no social services, welfare, medical program. Nothing was started for black people. Welfare was started for white people, and there are more white people on welfare than blacks. Social Security was not started for black people. They were started for white people. All those programs. And to Barry's sake, they got caught in the snare. Social services started for black people, and white people just got caught in the snare. That shows you what an uninformed person this guy is. That's why he didn't win. And I noticed the only thing he was praising other politicians, but his local ones he's not praising because he lost. He come in dead last in a run for county commissioners. Barry's uninformed, and what he said about social service goes back to what I said. He can't think. He has nothing to think with. And he has no common sense. Anyone who ever lived in America more than 2 months know that all social programs are started for white people. Blacks couldn't even get a fair shake in social service for years and years. In some cases, they still don't.
Joe, don't.
All those programs are started for white people. And I don't know, Barry's out of control when it comes to reality. And all of those, most of the things that Trump in this big, beautiful bill is going to sunset, like he's talking about taxes on tips. They're gone in 28. Most of those things are gone in 28. And
unless they're renewed, just like the tax bill.
Unless they're what?
Unless they're renewed, when you do the bill the way they did it, you have to have programs like that. That's how they do it. That's how the tax bill that he did in his first administration was going to run out. They put them in those recession bills. Some of them have to run out, and they can be renewed.
What do you mean reduced or renewed? What do you say?
Renewed. What I'm saying is tax on tips. The deal in the big beautiful bill, it'll run out like you said. You said it's going to run out in 2028. Unless it is renewed. They can renew it permanently like they did the tax bill.
Harry, I understand that. That's not what I said. I said they are going to run out, and that's a fact.
And I said, and all I said was they could be renewed. Absolutely.
Renewal.
Absolutely.
I'm not about renewal.
I understand that. I am not talking about you. I'm talking about there are other people that are listening to this program, and I pointed that out to them, that it's just like the tax bill. It can be renewed. I understand what you were talking about. I know what you were talking about.
Okay. For the people listening, yes, they're going to run out in 28. And it all depends on whether the legislature or whoever's in charge renew it. But it's going to run out. In other words, it's not something you can take to the bank. It's uncertain whether it's going to be renewed. Trump's going to be gone. And there's a lot of people. And Trump's going to be gone. And most of the Congress is going to be gone too if the midterms do what they usually do. And then Harry, you said it's not certain whether you said Trump said they was going to pick up 5 new seats, and it's unusual to have redistricting except when you have a census. It's clearly that the Republicans are going to cheat and win those seats by sleight of hand. That's ridiculous. They are trying to win. They're trying to win by hook and crook.
Just like the Democrats and Republicans have been doing that forever. Gerrymandering is not Republican. It's Democrat and Republican. And it's wrong. I disagree with it.
Harry. There's been no example why Democrats gerrymandered redistrict unless there was a census. This is unusual. And listen, and look, Terry, that's exactly the reason that these deals that Trump's making are not going to go. That's why that's why the people overseas are not going to buy these deals, because there's uncertainty in the markets in America. They can't be certain that things are going to go that way. They're not going to take up root and bring the business here and you get a crazy politician in like Trump. They're not going to do it. You can wish, you can cross your fingers, your legs, you can do whatever you want to do, but it's not going to happen. And to put all your eggs in the basket, the Republicans are going to be they're going to be sad. They're going to wish they'd ever seen Trump.
All right, appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate it. But social programs, in the last 30 years, social programs have been started for everyone, not white people, not black people, not Hispanic people, for everyone. And that's true. I mean, that's what that is. It's, the thing is, you got to stay away from absolutes. Social services programs were absolutely started for this group, but no, they weren't. They're supposed to be, under the law, started for everybody. And social programs, there was discrimination. It's not anymore because it's against the law.
Oh, it is too.
Now, does that mean that it's completely?
I was only getting $16 a month.
Up for yourself.
And now I don't get even that. I don't get nothing because of this sorry ass family members that's in with the government.
If you actually
they ain't shit.
Discriminated against,
and God gonna bring them down.
And you can do something about it.
Sorry ass church demons.
You can get these agencies that are out there to try to help people on Talk Line. Talk Line.
Thank you, your hometown radio station, for over 70 years. To show our appreciation, WPHE is having a beach trip getaway for 3 days and 2 nights to the luxurious Ocean Creek Resort in Myrtle Beach.
I want to talk a little bit about the folks over at that you heard us talking about them on Talk Line. Good morning, you're on Talk Line.
Good morning. Anyhow, to change the subject, Roy Cooper, a wannabe U.S. Senator and former governor of the state of North Carolina, has now got a new problem. And that is, if there's one thing that is more, hell hath no fury, to use the old saying, situation, then some businessman...
You need to shut the door, Matt, or move away from that radio in the background.
Himself, Mussolini, on his own accord, and shut down the state for a month.
I'm going to have to cut you off. I can't understand a damn thing you saying.
Cooper will haunt you the rest of your natural life. You have made our lives misery, and now we're doing the same thing to you.
If I vote for you, are you going to go to Washington and do the people's business? That's what I want to know. Who cares?
I know, who cares who was married to? That was a dumb, for him to even call in on old dumbass.
But in the politics of today, that's the way it is. I'm just old school. Everybody makes mistakes, and I want to know, what are you going to go to Washington and do the people's business? That girl and divorced her and married that one. I don't care. I just don't care. That kind of stuff doesn't matter. Now, when you break the law, I got a problem with that. All right. I guess they decide they don't want to talk to it. Good morning. You're on Talk Line.
Good morning, Harry. Hope your morning's going well.
It is. Doing great. Doing great.
Well, the first thing I wanted to start out with was there's no place on this program for colors. And if that's what you're calling in about, the way I feel, you need to apply yourself. And if that's what you dwell on, enter or go to a art class or something. because they got plenty of colors in art class, and you can draw a picture or something. But you know, that's ridiculous. But I didn't. You know, I hear some of that all through the week, and you get tired of it. And what I really want to...
Alamance County is too racist. Well, how do you get out of it when your whole damn county is racist?
You know, he's got people that won't do what they were elected for, and I know you've seen it on the news and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the thing that there's so many ironies in this stuff, like the fact that they are mad about Greg Abbott gerrymandering in Texas, so they go to hide out in a state that's one of the most gerrymandered states by the Democrats. I mean, that just beats anything I've ever seen. The thing is, and they say we're doing this for democracy, so they're violating democratic principles, the rule of law. They're violating that in order to save democracy. I just find that ridiculous. You know, go to your state, try to convince the rest of your colleagues that you're right, and vote. If you lose, deal with it. If you win, be happy. But don't leave the state to keep from voting. That's ridiculous. This is the third time that the Democrats in the state of Texas have done that, and it's been ridiculous all three times.
Well, it's just like Atlanta Braves. They lost last night. So.
They lose every night. So disgusted with the Braves.
So does Trump lose every damn day.
I will tell you what, you win some, you lose some. But, you know, it's just like Donald Trump, when he came into office up there, he got into Washington and he said, y'all supposed to be showing up for work, and that all the offices were empty, and they had secondary jobs and stuff, and they were getting paid for positions and stuff that they weren't even doing. So, I mean, that's where you trim. That's like a butcher. That's where you trim the fat, you know. And that's what this country's going to have to do. And this country's going to have to start looking after itself and quit worrying so much about foreign countries. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. And people, you know, the ones that don't like him, they're not going to like him, I'm going to tell you. But the ones that didn't like Joe Biden, they're not going to like him either. But it's got to get down to this country's got to build itself back up.
All right, appreciate it. I'm not in Texas. Been to Texas, love Texas, but not down there. But I'll guarantee you that the Democrats that voted for those people and the Republicans that voted for those people that left the state did not vote for them to do that. It's not, what they've done is not popular with Democrats or Republicans, because it doesn't solve anything. They're trying to make a statement. That's what they're doing. But the statement doesn't solve anything, because they are eventually going to have to go back, and the vote will go through, and it will be a vote that they don't want. They're not going to stop the vote. They've done, like I said, they've done this twice before, didn't stop the vote. Listen, you elect these people to go represent you, and they go to another state so they don't vote and represent you. They ought to be in there trying to talk the people that they think are going to vote the other way to vote with them, because they've got good reasons why they should. That's what they need to do. And if that is failed, they need to stay there and work hard to make sure that they convince other people that that's what they want to do. They need to do the people of Texas business, not go to Illinois or Chicago or to New York to get away from their required duty. Sneaking away so that you don't have to vote and you can't have a quorum,
when you're working with dirty, rotten crooks, what you're supposed to do, y'all are not an honest party. Y'all are rotten, you're crooked, you're evil. Nobody wants to be around you, sorry asses.
Glad to have you along. Hope you will give us a call and join in.
Oh, why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember, what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness. That term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites. Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws. Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, you know, the usual scapegoats. Third, the elites promise protection to poor white folks. A politician comes along and says, I'll keep those people in their place, or I'll kick them out, or I'll lock them up. Or, more politely, I'll defend your values. They don't say, I'll make your life better.
They'll even kill you and cover it up and use the government to do it. And the doctors and the lawyers help.
They don't get ahead of you. Fourth, they vote for the punishment, not the policy. When a law gets passed that slashes public housing or school funding or food aid, they think, good, that'll stop those lazy freeloaders. And they do some mental gymnastics that make them believe it's worth losing those things for their own families in order to see those problematic black people and immigrants and so forth being punished. It gets to a point where just seeing those guys being punished is reward enough, which is pretty sick, but that's how behavior works.
If you give us a call that you heard us talking about them on Talkline. All right, 2229224.
Yeah, Harry, I want to get in where you talk about salary, but first of all, I don't agree with cutting everybody on food stamps off of getting snacks, because where they're really getting fat is off of the fast food restaurants. But I would limit the amount of snacks that you could get, because I think it's going to increase shoplifting. I think that's what's going to come out of all that. You know, because you're going to have some people so desperate for snacks, or kids that want snacks, they're going to do a lot of shoplifting, even more than what's going on today. So, but I agree, you don't need to spend all your money on snacks. That's just totally ridiculous, because our seniors, we've really got to watch our budgets today. And most of it does not include snacks. You know, if my kids get a banana or apple for my grandkids, you know, they're pretty lucky anymore. But anyway, when I first married my husband in 1975, the minimum wage in Illinois at that time was $1.59, and it went up, I think it was $1.59, it went up to like $1.70, but a lot of the men would work Saturdays in order to make overtime so they could stretch out their salaries if they were willing to work. You had those people that wanted every Saturday off, but, you know, and sometimes there's even Sunday work. And today, it's, you know, you can't get a lot of overtime. People are just getting the bare, if they're lucky, 40 hours, you know. But I used to work at a restaurant when I was young. I also worked in the field, and I got $5 a day. That's all they would pay us as teenagers, was $5 a day. We'd mow yards and things like that just to try to make some extra money. But I would work out in that field from like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, till sometimes 2 in the morning, working out in that field for $5 a day. And I can't see kids doing that today. But the money does not stretch as far, because I would give my mama $20, and then, you know, I would have $5 left over for me. And, you know, we could buy a lot of things with that $5. I could even get school clothes and makeup and things like that I wanted. But what the most prejudiced thing is when people had when they go to get a job and they'd file their application in file 13. I think that's where the big problem was. We're not hiring people. And then with the unions, a lot of times the unions would try to lock certain people out. But I remember one time I got so angry at my husband because he went on strike because he's working for a city there. at City then, and he went on strike for a nickel an hour. And by the time they got through with the strike, that nickel an hour didn't mean. I was so angry at him and angry at the union for that one.
All right, appreciate it. 2229224. What tell you about Deal Law? You'll love doing business with that great folks. 336-584-4448. Deal Law. Tell them you heard us talking about them on Talkline. You know, on Talkline. All right, 2229224. Good morning. You're on Talkline.
Morning, Harry.
Hey there. How are you?
Oh, just great. Sitting here watching it rain again.
Well, you know, mowing my yard, piled up the grass.
Inches high now. And I'm staring out the bathroom window, and I see the grass moving. And he's all the way down on the ground, and he's trying to creep up to the my whole bird tree bunch of feeders, because I had just filled up all the good bird seed.
Mm-hmm.
And I come back in the house, and a couple of little wrens or something was out there, and he was playing line and trying to crawl up to. And it was so funny. I didn't see him to start with,
Mm-hmm.
but I seen the grass move, and then he raised his head up.
Now, you can tell that you need to mow and the grass is too long when you look out across the yard and you see it moving, but you don't see what's making it move. That's a key right there.
That's a key. That's a big key right there.
You talked today. Thank you.
A little brightness in your day, I think.
Absolutely it was. Thank you so much.
All right.
You take care. I love cats. And, you know, they are so demanding. They really are.